How's it going?
It's going well, man. It's going well.
Hey, thank you for that intro, man. I know it took some time putting in work to put that together, man. I'm really humbled by that awesome introduction, man, and I truly appreciate that.
No problem at all, Steve. Appreciate you. Appreciate what you're doing in the kidney community. So,
absolutely. It feels kind of awkward being on the other side.
yeah, it must. After all the shows that you've hosted and done, it definitely probably does.
Yep.
Well, Steve, why don't you introduce yourself and tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Well, as you know, my name is Steve Belcher. I go by the name in the kidney space as Steve, the kidney nurse. 57 years old. I'm a dialysis nurse, semi-retired. I work here and there at times. But yeah, I've been doing dialysis 36 years, 10 years as a dialysis technician, and 26 years as a nurse. I also have two children, one 12, started late, but one 12, one 36. I have two grandkids. I was in the military for 3 years, from 1982 to 1985. Served as a 19 Delta Cavalry Scout, and I was discharged in 1985 in Killeen, Texas, your home state. And at the time, my wife and I relocated to Austin, Texas. And that's where I got my start in 1985 in kidney dialysis at the Austin Diagnostic Center on West 36th Street in Austin, Texas.
Okay. I'm about 2 hours from Austin.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Been there many times. It's a really cool city. So
yeah, I haven't been there maybe since the 2000 when I was on a travel assignment as a nurse in Houston for 3 years, and I took a trip back up to Austin. But yeah, very, very nice town.
Yeah, it's really cool. So Steve, what's your affiliation with kidney disease?
Well, first off, my affiliation with it is my my work as a dialysis personnel right now as a dialysis nurse. As I mentioned, I worked 36 years in the field. As well, what a lot of people may not know, I do have kidney disease stage 1, hovering around 1 or 2, depending on what I may have ate the night and when the lab work was drawn. But it's very controlled in stage 1. GFR is somewhere in the 80s. And also my affiliation with the advocacy that I do online through social media.
I wasn't aware that you had stage 1 kidney disease.
Yes, Jonathan, I've been seeing a nephrologist for almost since 2001.
Okay.
Yeah. And so with me, it wasn't the typical high blood pressure, diabetes. Even though I do have high blood pressure, but it's controlled. It's not the high blood pressure that's sky high, that's 180, 190, or 200 over 110. What happened to me when I was working, I caught an unknown viral infection. And what it did, it went through my system, and it damaged my kidneys, it damaged my liver, caused me to spill protein in the urine. And so that's when it was discovered. And from that point on, I've been managing the disease up until today.
Okay.
Faithfully.
So you think you got it when you were in the military, you say?
No, I had an unknown viral infection back in 2002.
Okay.
And I believe it came from that.
Okay.
That's when I started spilling 3 grams of protein in my urine. And literally, when I talked to several doctors after the episode, and showed them my medical records. Some nephrologists that I was work with, they said I had what's called hydronephrosis, and but I didn't have any of the symptoms of, my BUN wasn't high, my creatinine wasn't high. I was just spilling protein in the urine.
So you're not only Steve the kidney nurse, you're also Steve the kidney warrior.
You can say that. Absolutely.
Yep. Yes, sir. So, Steve, let's talk a little bit about the reasons why that you started the Urban Kidney Alliance and the Urban Health Outreach Media Network. What was your reasoning for wanting to start those? Okay,
so with Urban Kidney Alliance, that's a nonprofit, 501c3 nonprofit. I started that in 2014. And the sole purpose in starting that nonprofit in the beginning was to help patients like a lot of other organizations, because I worked in the field and I seen firsthand patients who didn't have money for blood pressure medicine. So at this time, I didn't connect the dots. I would, like a lot of nurses, we see patients come in, and they're mostly African American, and their pressure would be sky high, 200 over 110, 198 over 120. And we were asked, if you're taking your medicine, they say no, but we didn't take it a bit further to investigate. And we just say, you need to take your medicine. Your pressure sky high, and kind of get on the patients about it. But little did I know, with a lot of patients, they were too embarrassed to say that they had to make a choice between buying medicine or buying food.
Wow.
Buying medicine or paying the bills.
Yeah.
And so as a result of that, and patients having a hard time getting the treatment because of transportation, I decided to open up an organization that could help patients financially get through that. Little did I know before creating this organization that a lot of big companies that do have corporate giving or grant giving, they don't sponsor organizations that give people money. So
Okay.
if I'm going to pay for something, they're not going to fund that. That's not part of their that's not part of their process or part of their company.
Mm-hmm.
Can't think of the word I want to use, but that's not into their system to fund organizations that help patients financially.
Okay.
So it had to be something like an education session or like a fundraiser.
Sure.
Yeah. And so as a result of that, I had to kind of restructure the organization on what we did, and that was education.
Right.
And so that's where I came up with the education. And then for Urban Kidney Alliance, we turned that into an organization to raise awareness, which we was already doing, but we had a main emphasis on helping patients financially. We did that for a while, and then we turned it around and started doing the education portion of it and being more assertive with education.
Right.
And so at
what
the
year
time,
did you start? What year did you start that?
What, Urban Kidney Alliance? Or
yes.
2014.
Okay, 2014. Okay.
Yes. And so about two and a half years ago, maybe three, I can say, when we came up, my partner and at the time, Tamika Gaines, we came up with the idea of creating a network of for just shows And that's how Urban Health Outreach Media came about. And the first show that was on that was Urban Renal Talk with Tamika and Steve.
Yeah. Well, when I faced kidney failure, I was on your show a couple of times. I was on Jared's show, and then I believe you interviewed me and Uncle Jim. So I just want to thank you for starting the network for Kidney Warriors, because, man, it was so incredible to, at the time, my mindset, I really needed support because, I was facing kidney failure and dialysis. It was all new to me. And so when I got offered to do a show on your network, man, it was a huge deal for me. And I really appreciate it, man. The support was amazing.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, man. I'm glad that you were able to come on and share your story. And then from that, not from that, but after that, get your transplant and then start your show. Hey, Jared, I've seen you grow so well. I've seen you from the very, very beginnings when we had the talk, when you was talking about doing your own show and what you was going to do. And to see you where you're at now, from where you started, very impressed, man. All I can say is just keep doing what you're doing, man. You definitely came a long way, and I mean, you're looking good. That's all I can say.
Well, first of all, man, I give all the glory to God, but it's because of mentors like you and Kent Bressler and Jim Myers and Jared Brown and the support from the community has been so crucial and so supportive, man. It's just meant a lot. So that's the reason why I'm sitting here right now doing an interview with you. So hopefully one day, I'll inspire someone too, and someone will say, hey, because of you, man, I started doing this and that for kidney disease, and that's what that would make me feel like what I'm doing worthwhile, especially if I inspire someone to continue to advocate and spread awareness for kidney disease. So,
Right.
Yep. So I got my next question is going to be about the advocacy that you're doing, and everybody sees you, on social media, sometimes at the Vitas and different locations that you're filming at or doing these impromptu videos. And so why is it important for us to create awareness for kidney disease? And also, why is it important for us to advocate and create awareness for kidney disease in the urban communities?
Mm-hmm. So, Jonathan, you mentioned about the videos, and in fact, I've had people in the past. I think I've been misunderstood when people see me in front of the DeVitas or the Fresenius, in front of different dialysis clinics. And even though I worked for the Vita once upon a time, my purpose on those videos is to get awareness out, to show people the appalling amount of dialysis facilities in urban communities. In fact, where I live right now in Washington, D.C., I don't live in an urban community. In fact, my parents, we consider this a middle class, but it recently, within the last several years, been gentrified. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, within the last 10 years, John, I'm sorry, within the last 5 or 6, 7 years, there are 10 dialysis centers in a 3-mile circumference radius from my house. 10.
Wow.
Okay. 10. And my neighborhood is not a neighborhood that you would think you would see fast food restaurants, liquor stores, strip malls, and stuff like that. It's not that. These clinics are embedded in community neighborhoods. And so the point that I'm trying to get across, when you see me at a DeVita that's right next door to a Family Dollar or near a General Dollar, I try to show where, even though, yes, they have a right to be next door, but connect the dots. We know Family Dollar has foods that's high in sodium, cholesterol, saturated fats, and calories. And we know with dialysis, some foods lead to like high salty foods and high cholesterol and saturated fats lead to high hypertension and diabetes, which are the two leading causes of kidney failure. And then when you come on the kidney failure side and you got the store right next door, then you have patients going next door getting candy, chocolate, stuff that's inconsistent with their renal diet. So you're fighting on two fronts. You got patients that go next door, and I've seen this in real time, buy a bag of candy and a lot of junk and bring it back, and they hand them out to staff and patients. And then on the other side, the pre-dialysis side, you got patients that aren't aware of diabetes and hypertension because 9 out of 10 blacks have stage 3 kidney disease and don't even know it. So if you don't know you're at stage 3, how would you know you're at stage 5? You're going to get there sooner before later. So what I just try to do, Jonathan, is to point this out and let people make their own decisions. Just like when you started dialysis and you go in on the first day and they read you the consent form and have you sign these forms and what to expect, from dialysis. Once they tell you what to expect, then you have an opportunity to possibly make a choice of what treatment you want. Well, here it's the same way. I try to give the person the information at hand and then let them try to make a decision on what they want to do. Some people just pass it out and just say, oh, okay. Then some people really take a look at this. And then you have the people who see it, don't believe it, but come back after somebody in their family or themselves may be impacted by this disease.
Yeah.
So that's why it's important for me in the community, in urban communities at best, because a lot of these clinics are centered around these communities. Now, there are, don't get me wrong, out in the suburbs, there are dialysis clinics out there, but they're not out there in droves like they are in the city. Right. And that's a lot of factors that play into that. Education, knowledge, income. A lot of that impacts that.
Right. Sorry, like you mentioned, those places that are close by, you said, they're buying the cheap stuff, that's affordable to them. But yet, because it's, because cheap doesn't always mean that it's healthy for you, right?
Absolutely.
Fast food. And it seems like in these low economic areas, that's where you see a lot of Family Dollar, Dollar Tree, all these, places that are economically, set up to kind of cater to those areas that may not, have a lot of money or resources. And then they put those in those areas, and you see them there. They kind of are in clusters. So you see like a Dollar Tree, Family Dollar, Dollar General, and then you'll see a bunch of fast food restaurants all in the same cluster. And then, like you said, they're in the corners, a dialysis center. So sometimes it really doesn't make sense. It's you just kind of scratch your head and say, there's something weird about that.
Oh, absolutely. And one other thing, Jonathan, if I may point out, what a lot of people don't understand, and I'm just, Jonathan, when it comes to kidney dialysis, I try to be unfiltered. And the reason why, because this is your life. This is someone's mother, someone's father, sister, brother, okay? And so what a lot of people don't know, I worked for DaVita over 19 years, off and on. But my last job was with them full time, but I worked for them per diem. So over a total of 19 years, I've been employed with them. And so I've had an opportunity to kind of see the insides and how things work. And so when people say, a lot of patients say, oh, DaVita is good, they're good as a company. I'm not trying to change their mind, but what I'm saying is not the company per se, it's the people that work with you, the frontline workers, because they take orders from the company. Now, there's a lot of stuff. This is not the show for it, but there's a lot of things that a lot of patients who go to DaVita don't know about, and how they really look at care and the bottom line and saving money. In fact, one example, I had a warrior call me last night, I kid you not, at 11 o'clock last week, when she was to go to treatment. It was a DaVita in Baltimore, okay? They called her or text her and told her that they couldn't treat her that day because they didn't have a nurse.
That's
okay.
Crazy.
And at that time, she hadn't been in treatment for a week because of her transportation. And now she had to go to the hospital. No patients could get treated that particular day. She had to wait to a Thursday. This was a Tuesday.
Oh, man.
And so I say that to say, when you're dealing with someone's life,
right,
you need to make sure you have staff there. We know things happen, okay? But across the board, clinics are having a hard time keeping staff. There's a shortage of dialysis personnel.
Yeah.
And so when that happens, a lot of things get missed, Jonathan, that a lot of patients don't see or think about. If you don't have nurses, or if you got nurses that come through every so often, don't have a stable nurse, nurses are supposed to write monthly progress notes to see how patients are doing. Okay, go over the lab data. It's just certain assessments that nurses have to do. Now, if you don't have a regular nurse at your facility full time that can be consistent and continue that continuity of care,
right,
then you got broken care.
Right.
You got stuff getting missed with patients. Patient may need to have a something done, and it's missed. Maybe the patient needed to get their third shot of hepatitis B vaccine, but when you got PRN nurses, somebody might have forgot to put that they gave the second dose in the system.
No,
so
I think it's definitely
things
important.
like that I try to raise awareness and ask patients to be mindful and look out what's going on, because if not, sometimes you can't depend on the staff. Like if you have a patient that's on the transplant list, the unit is supposed to draw your monthly blood, whether you bring in the box or they send the box to the facility, and either give you that box with the tube, with the blood that they drew, so you can send it to the transplant center, or they take care of it. Sometimes that get missed, and patients get inactive because the patient's thinking the facility sent the blood, and facility hasn't done anything. And next thing you know, patients getting a letter from the transplant center saying they haven't received their specimen for 6 months or something like that, and now they are inactive on the list.
Right. Well, as you know, each day that you don't get that dialysis treatment, the toxins are building up, the fluid, depending upon how much the patient's drinking and eating and consuming.
Absolutely.
So anything can happen, and if they miss a treatment or two, it can go south really quickly.
Yes,
really quickly.
And that's why we encourage if someone is able to do it, home dialysis, because to me, in my opinion, that's the best modality. That's my opinion. Not everybody has that same opinion, but when you think about it logically, okay, if you go to dialysis and your hours are 3 hours a treatment, patients like, the lower the hours, the better. However, if you're not meeting clearance, you're doing 3 hours and you feel washed out, maybe your skin is a little darker, you don't have the pep, you feel tired, fatigued, because you're getting that rigorous treatment over a short period of time, especially if you're taking off 3 to 5 liters of fluid. That's going to be really hard on your heart. Does it make sense?
It totally makes sense.
And so we try to encourage people who are able to do home hemo or peritoneal, whichever their choice, to be at home, because now you can stretch your treatments out a little longer, get a more quality of treatment, and feel a lot better, have spunk, energy. You got your own time. You can manage it yourself. You could go on vacations. You take the machine with you, depending on what machine you're using. It's just a win-win situation across the board, opposed to having to go inside the clinic, sit and wait for them to call you, or go to the clinic and they may have a machine breakdown at the facility, whether it's the water system or your dialysis machine. Thus, your treatment is being delayed or prolonged, or better yet, you got to come back tomorrow.
Yeah. No, it definitely makes sense. I remember I ended up moving on to home hemodialysis, and I could tell you I was a little bit more flexible with my diet. I could be a little bit more flexible with my fluid level because I knew I was getting a treatment almost every day. And it helped me out a lot. Plus, I could do it on my schedule, man. It liberated me from being stuck in that in-center mentality where you feel almost institutionalized and you're locked into that schedule, So home dialysis saved me, man. It saved my mindset. Took away the depression from being locked into that schedule all the time. And I got my weekends back. And, I was able to, like I said, I couldn't go crazy, but I could. If I wanted that slice of pizza, I could eat it because, then I was going to get on the machine and a couple hours later. So I didn't feel so guilty about it if I did indulge in something because I knew I was going to get treatment. It was at hand, at my hands reach. But, in center, you had to wait. You had to wait for the next couple of days, to get that treatment. And it was scary at times, definitely.
And who wouldn't want to do dialysis in the comfort of their own home with their family right near them?
Exactly. So, Steve, man, I appreciate all that information, man. So informative. It's one of the reasons why we had you on tonight. We also want to talk about your new book, though.
Sure.
So Steve's a new author, guys. He's done a book called How to Survive Outpatient Hemodialysis. He's holding up an awesome looking cover there for the copy of the book right there. And
this picture, Jonathan, I used to work at this clinic back in the 80s and 90s. This facility right here in Washington, D.C.
Okay. I was wondering about that picture, if that was one of the facilities that you worked in.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So before we get into your book, I just want to send a quick shout out to everybody that's watching. Jared Brown, the Warriors Quest Show, man. Appreciate you tuning in. Also, we got Shane Blanchard from Midwest Kid.
Hey, Shane. Jared.
Shane, man, appreciate you. And everybody that's tuned in, Lou Ortiz from the Greenheart Squad over at TikTok. We appreciate you tuning in. We got Shane Blanchard, like I said, I already mentioned him. And some others that have jumped on. We really appreciate all your support, and I appreciate you guys watching. Shane wants to know where you're from originally, Steve.
Washington, D.C.
Okay. All right.
Nation's capital.
The nation's capital, Washington, D.C. All right. So, Steve, why did you write the book on outpatient hemodialysis?
Well, you want me? Can I be professionally honest and personally honest?
Absolutely. This is a real show. Go
ahead. So to be honest, Jonathan, I wrote that book because I used to do a lot of shows on what's in that book, on the information in that book. And I didn't get a lot of people tuning in to watch the shows. And I put a lot of work, as you know, it's a lot of work that goes into doing these shows, getting your material together and the production and just everything. And so honestly, I got frustrated one night, and God told me, or the Spirit told me, instead of getting frustrated, why don't you wrap all that information that you've been trying to teach different nights and have these shows into one book. And so if people want to buy it, they can buy it. If they want the information, you don't have to go on and put it out, go on a broadcast and do an education session and put it out there and no one show up and I get upset. This way, or someone may miss it. This way, the information's in the book. If they want to read it or get that information, they have an opportunity to purchase the book and get the information and to help people.
Right.
What I found when patients newly get diagnosed, when they're in a hospital, it may be a Friday and they may be getting discharged. They just got told or diagnosed. They done had several treatments in the hospital for their kidney failure. And now they're about to be discharged. And so you have a caseworker that comes in the room to ask the person, hey, what area do you live in? Because we want to see how close you live from a dialysis unit, what unit or whatever the doctor that you were seeing in the hospital, whatever unit they're affiliated with, 9 times out of 10, they're going to send you to that unit. No one talks about home dialysis, peritoneal dialysis, or transplant, other treatment options. So what this book would do, Jonathan, if it got into someone's hands right before they got discharged from the hospital, it would take them through what to expect day one when they walk through that door, from what paperwork to expect to sign, to getting your weight, introducing the staff to you, washing your arm if you got a fistula or a graft. It just takes you through so, it can lessen that anxiety. It's not going to take it all away, but what I'm hoping for this book to achieve is to reduce one's level of anxiety right before they walk through that door. So they read this book before they even go to the dialysis clinic on the first day. At least they will be armed with information and know what to expect.
Exactly.
Once they walk through those doors, they know they got to sign paperwork. They get the consent form. They know they got to get a weight done. They know when they go to the chair that a standing blood pressure and a sitting blood pressure has to be taken, your pre and post temperature, your weight, that you got to be monitored every 30 minutes for your vital signs. I want them to know what to expect, so when they go in and go through this process, they have an understanding and an expectation of what to expect from the staff.
Sure. Man, I really wish I would have had my hands on something like that when I went into emergency kidney failure, because I was hit like a truck, like literally. I had no experience, no education on kidney disease or dialysis, or it just wasn't in my space, right? And so I think that's one thing we definitely got to fix in the world is we got to bring kidney disease into the eyes of everyone, no matter if you're suffering with it or not, because eventually it may happen to you.
Absolutely. We got to bring it to the forefront.
Right. Bring it to the forefront. So, because it may happen not to you, but maybe a family member or your wife or your brother or your sister or, vice versa. So, man, I think it's awesome that you wrote a book on this. I think it's amazing. And I would highly recommend everyone to go over and check it out. You can check it out, people that are wondering, over at www.stevenlbelcher.com. I shared my screen a minute ago while Steve was talking, just to give you guys an idea of what it looks like. I'll go ahead and share my screen again, let you guys see what we're talking about. Here's the website right here.
Oh,
Steven,
absolutely. Thank you for showing that.
No problem.
And Jonathan, if I may add, to let people know, these are some of the chapters in the book. Chapter 1, what is chronic kidney failure? Chapter 2, introduction to hemodialysis. Chapter 3, your first day at outpatient hemodialysis. Chapter 4, your rights and responsibilities. Chapter 5, understanding patient grievance policy. 6, treatment options for kidney failure, hemodialysis and peritoneal. We break it down there. Then we go to chapter 7, treatment options for kidney failure, kidney transplant. Then chapter 8, I talk about how to care for your access. Chapter 9, making wise food choices. Then in chapter 10, I give some additional important information. Chapter 12, we talk about staying healthy. Chapter 11, staying healthy. And chapter 12, I ended out with coronavirus and kidney disease. Then I have some acknowledgments. I got a glossary of kidney words and online resources for patients, which I have your mentor information in there, Kidney Solutions, which is on page 152. Oh,
awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, Kent would definitely appreciate that. So thanks for the shout out. Really appreciate that.
No, absolutely. Look, Jonathan, this is the thing. With this book, what I wanted to also do, because we have these big organizations, NKF, CKF, and all these other abbreviations, we always hear about them, but we don't hear about organizations such as Kidney Solutions or Jim Benson's organizations, Transplant Journey, right, or Dad Vice TV, or Kindness for Kidney group. We don't hear about the small organizations that make an impact in kidney warriors' lives on a smaller scale. We know that NKF and all these, had these $1 million budget and they do what they can do, but we got to take it down to the level where we're at tonight, where you and I at. We don't have no big organization sponsoring us right now. It's just you and I. I'm sure you probably pay, just as I do, pay for the internet service so we can get our shows out there. But we're doing it from, hey, Miss Verna, we're doing it from the goodness of our heart. You're doing it as a warrior. I'm doing it as an advocate. And we're trying to make an impact where it needs to be done. Like you said, this needs to be on the forefront. And thank God, I'm starting to see a lot more people talk about this disease on TikTok. They're being more transparent. They're being more open. So it wasn't like this, and you can probably attest to this. 2.5 years ago, when you was on that show, there wasn't a lot of shows out there as they are now. No. I mean, they probably were, and we didn't really hear about them because it was so, minimized or whatever. But fast forward to today, we got your show. We got what Jeff Brown and other guys are doing.
Mr. Kidney.
We got Shane Blanchard. We got Mr. Kidney. We got Shonda. We got Uncle Jim. We got Kidney Solutions. I mean, we got Dad Vice TV. I mean, to be honest with you, before I understood this process, in the very beginning, when I started seeing these other different shows popping up, I'm not going to lie to you, I was getting scared because I felt like we would probably lose a space in the community. But at the same time, I see that that's not the case because we each have our own niche. and how we deal with this situation. And as long as we have our own niche and we supporting each other, like you have me on your show and I bring you on my show and this and that, I think we could be much stronger together in those type of collaborations. I saw the show you did with AAKP. I had the opportunity to interview those same folks on my show. And so those type of broadcasts brings recognition to what we're doing on this level. So really think it's a positive thing and would like to see other shows. I'm sure we won't be the first or the last to do a kidney show.
Oh, absolutely not. I'm sure there's more coming, and we hope so, because
absolutely,
like said, we got to get the kidney disease out here, spread it to the masses, and let everybody know, about it. And no, man, shows like mine and yours and Mr. Kidney, Dad Vice TV, all of us, we're all trying to do things and try to get the awareness out there and network together. I think, united we stand. We can be a united front, for kidney disease. And I think it's awesome and definitely positive. So, Steve, my last question for you before we close out the show, why don't you share a few tips for someone that's newly been told that they got to go on dialysis? Why don't you share just a few tips that may be helpful for them?
Absolutely, Jonathan. So if you're watching this broadcast right now, you, your family member, or someone you know has recently told that you would need to start dialysis soon, one thing that I truly advise is, one, get this book. And I'm not just saying it because I want to sell it, but I'm saying it because it's packed, and I mean it's packed with some vital, life-saving information that you can use, and it will help you better prepare for the process going in, mentally. Okay, not physically, but mentally. This can prepare you for the task that you're about to undertake. Also, I recommend, listening to what your doctor have to say. Ask a lot of questions. I would definitely, if this is your option to get a transplant, I would start that process sooner than later. I would start with family and friends to see if you could get a living donor. I would connect with organizations such as AAKP, National Kidney Foundation, and American Kidney Fund, and other small organizations. If you can't get enough from the big ones, if you want to talk to somebody in real time, to reach out to someone like Jonathan, Kent Bressler, Uncle Jim, Lisa Baxter, people that's in the kidney space right now, Shane Blanchard, Jared Brown, Jeffrey Brown. These individuals, if you're looking for a transplant or any other information, can point you in the right direction. And also go to Urban Health Outreach Media, where we have a plethora of video broadcasts from past up until now of kidney shows, education shows that we talk to people, get their story, where you can get hope, information, education, and a different perspective on dialysis, and not just go on maybe a perspective you may get if you're in a Facebook group or you do online searches or from your doctor. As the old saying goes, there's more than one way to skin a cat. So to sum it up, ask questions, learn all you can about your illness. Don't go for the phony medicine with these magic kidney solution stuff that can cure your kidneys.
Right.
Bypass that, because they'll do more harm than good. Get on the transplant list as fast as you can. And as Jonathan said in the beginning of this show, have hope.
Yes, exactly. Have hope, man. Hope is a very strong, impactful word, and it's not just a word; it's a feeling. And you gotta hang on to it. You gotta hang on to hope. And man, I really appreciate you, Steve. Man, you have been incredible. Lots of information has been shared in this interview. Lots of impactful. I want to send a special shout out to Verna Johnson also for tuning in and watching. Verna's a really great
I know Vernon.
advocate and kidney disease warrior herself. And so appreciate Verna for watching. Also, Don Smith Bates, Don and Jimmy Bates, appreciate y'all watching. And also, I wanted to send a shout out to Shane Blanchard. He says he bought 2 books from you already.
Oh, thank you, Shane. God bless you, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah. So shout out to Shane, man. God bless you, Shane. Appreciate it. But hey, guys, go check out Steve's book at stephenlbelcher.com. We've already shared that throughout the interview. And also, if you haven't already, gone over and subscribed to the Urban Health Outreach Media channel over on YouTube. You need to go over there and subscribe. Like I said, it's a whole plethora of informative interviews with not only Steve with World Kidney News, but you got Jared Brown with the Warriors Quest Show. You got Uncle Jim Myers with Kidney Stories 2, and so many other Bella's shows on there as well. Bella Langston. Yeah. And she had an incredible show the other night with the face transplant guy. That was an amazing show. An amazing show. But guys, listen, we're gonna close out. We're gonna close out this show. God bless you guys. Thanks.
God bless you. Thank you, Jonathan. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Steve. And again, guys, y'all stay safe out there. Remember to take care of your kidneys. God bless. Thanks again, guys, for tuning in. God bless. We're going to end this show again. And I appreciate everyone for tuning in to the Hope with Jonathan. And I really appreciate Steve Belcher for coming on. Sorry about the intro in the beginning. Had some internet problems and internet dropping. But again, guys, really appreciate all the support for the show. And I hope you guys who have watched this show tonight definitely have appreciated what Steve shared with us. And normally I don't do an in commentary on a show, on an interview, but I felt like I needed to tonight. So I really appreciate everyone's support for Hope with Jonathan. Again, guys, if you haven't had a chance to go over and check out our website, please go check it out at www.hopewithjonathan.com. And again, guys, really appreciate all the support, man. Tonight's interview was so informative and awesome. Really, really appreciate Steve for sharing tonight. And Steve has been a huge influence on me, huge impact for what I'm doing in the kidney space and kidney community. Really appreciate what he's doing for Kidney Warriors. Again, guys, really appreciate your support. And also, guys, please check out all of our friends at www.midwestkidneywarriors.com, kidneywarriormerch.com, and also impactamericamedia.com. Again, guys, you guys stay safe out there. God bless. Remember to take care of your kidneys, and I'm going to end this show with the intro that I shared for Steve.